All right. Where's the cowboy?
Cowboy coming from CCC account today.
All right, we can hear you good. Okay, great, 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 great. All right. So, cowboy, you're coming in as the Crosschain Coalition for today. And we just want to say hello to the Crosschain Coalition community. But before let's get started, let me start in an orderly manner before I was cut off. First of all, thank you for joining us. Today is Wednesday, July 27th, 2022. You are joining us at Volumes Pigeon AMA for Paloma. And today we're going to talk about two things. We're going to talk about the Crosschain Coalition, and we're going to talk about Paloma. So in that order, my guest joining me today will be the Crosschain Coalition and also Thelema. Howdy, Thelema. Good to see you again. And the way we're going to break this up is we're going to talk in two pieces. The first thing we're going to talk about was Paris, ETHCC Paris, and the Crosschain Coalition experience at ETHCC Paris. And then after that, we're going to give an update on Paloma to all the flock. And this is a shout out to everybody in the Paloma community. If you're a pigeon on Paloma, congratulations. And if you're running validators in our testnet, congratulations. Shout out to the wonderful Turkish community, our awesome Russian community, rockstar Indonesian communities, and everyone who is neither of those three groups. Of course, American communities and also our Vietnamese communities that are looking to see and help Paloma head to mainnet and to see the winning opportunities that value proposition that Paloma has, which is to essentially be the scrappy messenger blockchain for all other chains and for developers, cross-chain communication. So thank you, community. Also, we want to give a shout out to the cross-chain community. I think now 3,000 more strong folks who are in cross-chain coalition. We're going to give you some information how you can get us, but you can find us on Twitter at CrosschainCo. That's Twitter/CrosschainCo, all one word. And you can essentially see the newsletter coming out today. We'll talk about the newsletter in a bit. But now we're going to kick off. Thelema and Cowboy, ETHCC Paris. Did you return okay? Did you guys get COVID from all the parties, or were you all right?
I got home safe. I am healthy, no COVID, so thank goodness. So I'm feeling great. I am still riding the high from ECC. It was so much energy. Paris was amazing. So I'm thrilled. What about you, Cowboy?
Yeah, no, it was an absolute blast.
Is there something else I can help with?
That was funny. Yes, there's something else you could help with. I need lunch. I haven't had lunch all day.
Thanks, Siri. Anyway, no, yeah, it was a good time.
Man.
It was a good time. I feel like,
like her turn.
Said, energy was crazy there. Lots of people showed out. I didn't know going over there that would be the biggest European crypto event. So that was kind of cool to see. I feel like we saw folks from all over the place.
I mean, absolutely. It has been pretty amazing to see all the people we met and all the people that showed up for the events. Let's talk about takeaways. Okay, and let's talk about what we learned. Okay, so we were in Paris. And I know the Crosschain, first of all, the Crosschain Coalition newsletter, issue number 10, came out today, correct, Kaba?
Yep, it was actually just published. So everyone can check their inboxes. CC number 10 is out. So that's pretty exciting. We've hit 10 issues, which is great. Who would have thought?
That's right. That's right. Congratulations. And how many members in the Crosschain Coalition right now?
I think we just hit over 3,000 subscribers this past week. Right. Super exciting.
Congratulations. All right. So Crosschain Coalition, first big takeaway, Crosschain Coalition held maybe like one of the most massive parties I've ever seen in all my life as a crypto event lurker. I couldn't even get into the party. I was at the door. They said, "You know what? Just get out of here." What was the atmosphere at the Crosschain Coalition party in Paris? What did you guys hear? What was going through people's minds?
Yeah, it was great. I mean, I halfway cringed, Tark, when you say party, because it didn't look like that. Or I guess it looked like it, but it didn't feel like it, right? We've all been to the side event parties where there's music blasting and you're dancing and all that sort of fun stuff. But this one I feel like had a little bit of a different tone, which was great. Which was like kind of like more of a cocktail hour, right? I think we saw tons of people there just networking, meeting other cross-chain builders, founders, investors, etc. And I think that's why, honestly, people stayed all night. We've thrown, I think this is Crosschain's third event now, and this is the only one that's kind of been more on like a cocktail hour theme. The other two have been more parties, and the parties are great, but people aren't really talking to each other, and they're kind of they're partying, and then they're leaving after a couple hours and going to party somewhere else, right? But here, I mean, we saw all the way till 2 a.m. The venue kept us all in there. No, not many people were leaving. We saw a line until 1 a.m. So it was crazy. I think everyone liked this theme. I think everyone got pretty high value out of meeting all the other members there. Obviously it was a beautiful venue and beautiful production put on by Thelema and the rest of the event team. But I think it was just different, and I think this one definitely stood out among the rest at ECC. I thought it was awesome too. It was the same night that Rave was going on, and yet I think I saw 5 or 6 people walking around in Aave t-shirts there. So
wait, was that true? I heard that story that there were people being like, I want to give up my Rave ticket to come to the Crosschain Coalition.
It was funny because they're two completely different things. But we saw in the major ECC Telegram chat, people selling their Rave tickets for ECC or for Crosschain Coalition tickets. It was amazing.
Yes, yeah. I mean, I must admit, when I was finally able to get into this event, people did come tell us that what really made it interesting was the music was low. You're correct. It wasn't a party. You could barely hear any music, but people were talking to each other. People were crowding around, talking, networking, pitching, just introducing to each other was very, very impressive. We didn't have any, again, it went all the way, I think, to 2 a.m. in the morning, and people were still networking, as they were sending people out. So I want to say really congrats to also the event team, Thelema here. Thelema, you did an awesome and amazing job. So I just want to give a shout out and a little clap here to Thelema.
Thank you.
I want to give a shout out to, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm just going to jump in. I did hear that people got kicked out, like physically got kicked out from the Brave event. So we didn't have anyone injured or anything. So I'm very proud to report that there was no injuries in the making of our party. I'm just echoing what you guys mentioned. It really was a networking event, and it just happened organically, what is great is that usually I have to be the connector there, but I was so surprised. People didn't even know who I was, and they were just coming up to me and telling me which projects that they're working on and whatnot. Right. So just seeing it happen organically and just seeing how everyone was so thrilled and excited to be a part of the community, it was just amazing. And also just the format of how we organize the event. I guess it's pretty standard and typical to just have wristbands, and once you're in, that's it. And once you meet capacity, no more people could come in. Basically, like the other events, like other competing events. However, we made sure to have everything on a flow. So once people came in, said hi, and they wanted to leave, that was fine. We had more people coming in. So yes, there was a long line, but if they were patient enough, they got in.
They got in. Well, I eventually get in after being told I couldn't get in. So I was like, wait a minute.
To your own party.
I was like, wait a minute. But first, second, I think also want to shout out to the sponsors. First of all, I want to say thank you to Michael Igorov and Curve. That was the main sponsor for the event. Michael tweeted me, people sending pictures of long lines saying, hey, what's going on? I'm like, dude, there's just so many people that want to come to Curve's event. So he sent back today saying it was a success. So congratulations. Also want to thank everyone again who showed up for the volume dinner the night before. Special shout out to folks at Jump Trading and the PIF team. I think special shout out to wonderful folks at NGC, TRGC, and a lot of our investors who really made our pre-cocktail dinner event a massive success. It was a massive win. And I also want to say shout out to our other team members. We should not forget Joyce. Where's Joyce? Joyce is not here. But Joyce, we want to say thank you very much. I think Thelema, you guys were sort of, co-workers, colleagues, just cranking hours before the cocktail event, making sure it was ready and making sure it was a success. Yes.
Oh, she's amazing. So, head of design, she just jumped in. We were getting posters and branding as size like 3 feet tall, trying to scrunch into a small car, and she was all over it, helping me out. So, yeah, shout out to Joyce. She did an amazing job helping the team.
Awesome. And also shout out to Dwayne. Yes, Dwayne, our Volume Europe event manager. Thanks for all the efforts you did putting together the great locations so that we can really have successful events. So I think back to takeaways. All right, so we're at EthCC. Let's talk about a big takeaway that has been really surprisingly impactful is the EthCC hackathon. Thelema, you were at the ECC hackathon after both the dinner and cocktails, like back-to-back events. You jumped straight into the hackathon. What was that like, and what did you see? Big takeaways from the hackathon.
Yeah, it was quite interesting. I am going to say this as respectfully as possible, but it was very it was disorganized. Unfortunately, a lot of attendees felt that, as well as the judges. So, but we did make the best as possible. There were about 1,000 people or hackers that tuned in online, and then we had 300 attendees in person. The vibe for the developers were just nonstop. They were on site working 24 hours. The security was there to ensure that the safety of the developers, and it was just great popping in and seeing what everyone was working on. We had such a large amount of bounties. I believe it was over $160,000 worth.
Wow.
So there was amazing sponsors. We basically there's Fuel Labs, Neon Labs, Polygon, and of course, we represented the Viper and Curve team there, which, everyone was actually really excited to meet some of our teams. We had 2 speakers from ApeWorks come in and help us out in the workshop. And so people were just really excited about meeting some people in Viper in person. Actually, we did promote the event for the online only, but we had about 15 developers show up in person, and they were excited to meet us. They're like, "You're a part of the Viper team. This is great." So it was great energy. So that's the high level there.
I think it was awesome. So first of all, thank you very much, Thelema. I know, and also thank you to the ApeWorks team. Special shout out to ApeWorks. Great team members that jumped in a pinch to help with judging and help with reviews. What was your favorite app that you thought was doing really well based on what you saw, Thelema? Did you have a favorite?
Yeah, I actually did. So there was 4 different rooms that listened to the pitches in person. I got to jump in and actually listen to it. ApeWorks got to weigh in mostly on the technical side. I was able to help with the other judging components. What stood out from us was there is this project called Senate. And let me find my notes here because I think that they're very interesting. They ended up winning 2nd place for infrastructure. So it was pretty interesting. So it's a one-stop solution of delegates. So they help with the participation of governance. So as you guys know, just monitoring governance is actually really hard, and it's very fragmented. So it's very difficult to maintain. And so their solution is to essentially help with that. So they created this dashboard for all the forums and also help with the votes. It was quite interesting. So I'll share the link for everyone to check out.
That is actually cool. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, what would you say was the common theme of projects being built at the hackathon? Tark's talking about let's get some insights out to the community about ECC. I mean, what were people excited to be building at this year's hackathon?
It was mostly, we had a few different categories, and so people did build surrounding those categories, but one of which was the economy. So just the economy and then the infrastructure. So we had a lot of submissions surrounding about that. But also there was a lot of excitement for NFTs as well. So there's different variations of how to deploy NFTs, how to create different contracts there. So it was quite interesting seeing how people were thinking outside the box and really doing, taking shape of that. Also, a few teams had a few different buzzwords in there so they added terms such as, we're adding cross-chain and whatnot. And so we kind of like laughed.
Whoa.
I know, exactly. So it was really fun hearing about that, like people thinking how to build cross-chain. So I'll definitely flag those projects for our team and for others out there that basically built around that. Yeah.
I think, I was telling Tark this as I was leaving Paris, that I think cross-chain is like the number one buzzword right now in crypto. I mean, we saw, DeFi summer, and we saw, we're in winter now, but we saw, kind of the NFT bull run as well. So it went DeFi, then NFTs. Now I think cross-chain is the season we're in right now, which is funny. But I just think every team is either trying to implement it or just saying that they're going to implement it just to fit the theme. Right. But I mean, I think if we dive deeper too, it's telling of where the state of ecosystems are at. I mean, we see new L1s getting launched every other day. Shout out to the guys at Aptos for launching Solana V2, and then the guys over at Miston too with Sui. All of these L1s are popping up, and the legacy L1s are tribal in their own right. And I think builders right now are having kind of an epiphany about like, okay, we have all these opportunities to build and opportunities on places to build. Let's do some cross-chain action. Let's cross-pollinate.
Yeah, agreed. A lot of momentum and movement in there, and it would have been nice to see some more cross-chain submissions in the hackathon. I think everybody was mainly on Ethereum for ECC. Is that my correct reading, Thelema? It was mainly ETH Mainnet L1?
Yeah, mainly. But there were at least 2 projects that I saw in our room that did cross-chain as well. So there were some out there. And then also, you got to remember, I didn't see all the submissions coming through. Yeah. So I can imagine there might have been a lot more. And also, we're still doing online judging. So that's closing this Friday. So it's crazy how many submissions. Offhand, I can't remember how many. I think it was... I didn't have the numbers in front of me, but I saw at least 12 pitches in our room, and there was 4 rooms total. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Wow. All right. So guys, I need to switch gears, but I will leave this one thing. I think we need to do a cross-chain hackathon. What is there? Do I have a vote? Yay. Cross-chain hackathon?
Of course.
Or the submissions must be cross-chain? Okay.
Let's do that.
Yes, I got support. People were saying we should do it. They'll collaborate. Yeah. So let's do it.
Yeah, let's do it. All right, let's switch into Paloma. Quick update for all the pigeons on Paloma. So we are still making progress. Last week, what we mainly did was deploy the first contracts. I think I did it on a plane. I was on the runway from Zurich to Paris, where I actually hit the proposal for voting for deploying the first contract to the Ethereum blockchain, CompassEVM. And 2 days later, the vote passed. And of course, 1 day later, we found out that we needed to put money to actually send the contract to Ethereum blockchain. So we asked all our pigeons for 0.1 ETH because, again, we can't tell which pigeon would do it. And of course, one of the pigeons did do it, and it was successful. And now the CompassEVM contract for Paloma is deployed. And just to give you confirmation, what the hell is the CompassEVM contract? Well, you can think of the CompassEVM contract as the Paloma managed contract, secured by the validator set of all the Paloma pigeons that are the validators on the network. This contract sits on Ethereum Mainnet. And what it does is it records the validators and the set of validators and their powers, so that if anybody sends a message to the CompassEVM, that message is checked to see whether or not it was sent by the validators and their signatures match for the signature that sends the message. So anybody can send a message, but only messages that are coming from the Paloma validator set will be processed and executed. So the security of the shared validators powers is what makes the Paloma CompassEVM secure. Now that is secure, of course, we had a problem. We weren't getting the val sets updated, so we found we had a bug. Turns out that every pigeon on our network, about 200 of them, are hitting Paloma and hitting each other with the same request to send a message. And so our protocol team and architect lead Mattia is working on fixing that, and I guess we're coming up with ideas to make sure that not all the pigeons send the same message and not all the pigeons are trying to ask for the same message in the message queue. Once this happens, the next step is to move towards testing it, making sure that it works, and of course our next phase, which will be our egg drop. So for all the validators in the network who've held off so long, you will be rewarded soon with new stuff that's happening from Paloma. We just want to let everybody know that 0.1 ETH is nothing that we spend. We're not asking the money for ourselves. This money is going to be spent to send messages from the network, and it's a temporary setup until we essentially roll out our gas management. So if you're on this test net and it's like 0.1 ETH is a little bit too much, don't worry about it. You could turn off your validator for a bit. We will be bringing it. You can bring it back on when we have more advanced gas management, and of course, gas fees are paid for by the message senders. Now, just to let everybody know, of course, in the future, if you do run a validator and a pigeon on Paloma, yes, you'll be expected to sort of advance the gas fee payment. The gas fees are refunded to the pigeons on successful transaction or sending the message. I mean, not successful because the message could fail and you still spend gas. But what we want to let everybody know is that this is important because gas management for us is essentially the cost function of being a validator. That's where the most of the cost will be handled, because you're going to be sending messages across many different blockchains, not just Ethereum. And so this can get pretty expensive. Essentially, to have gas ready to send a message, we're letting pigeons know that this is going to be the new phase of the network. We know it's not for everyone, and some folks may not be able to participate as validators, but that's okay. There are many other ways you can participate on the Paloma network and build a business. We want to help folks see that they can build a business and generate revenues. Can't tell if you're going to generate profits, but there's opportunity to generate revenue. So this week, we are still working on making our fix to be able to update our validator sets. And once we do that, we'll let the flock know, and then we'll let the flock know what we're proceeding to. If, of course, you filled out the egg drop Google form way back in June 24th, about a month ago, don't worry, that form is still with us, and we want to say thanks to everybody who filled it out. Eggs are coming, but the eggs need the CompassEVM to work before the eggs can go. We want to say Paloma is also doing some cool work with Pyth. I think if you were here on Friday, we now have Pyth price feeds on Paloma testnet. The last blockchain to do this was Terra. So we're really happy to be following in Terra's footsteps and taking the lead there. We're going to be announcing more stuff with regards to these Pyth price feeds, because this means now once our val set works, you can literally set up exchange to execute commands on Ethereum based on the ETHUSD price feeds. Just to give an example, if you wanted to put a limit order where if the price hit a certain number and you wanted to sort of execute a trade on Ethereum L1, you can do so without having to just leave your, without having to sort of hope that someone will pull the trigger or run your own infrastructure. So think of it as the pigeons as a full data center and a full compute infrastructure that all you have to do is give them instructions. When ETH hits 1500, buy me 10 ETH. That's an limit order. And buy me 10 ETH until the price goes up to 1600. You can do that remotely now with Paloma's testnet because we're working on EVM Mainnet. We haven't talked a lot about this, and folks are like, I don't know what that means. But most likely Paloma will be the only blockchain in which you will be able to execute remote limit orders. I'll repeat again, Paloma may be the only blockchain that you can execute remote limit orders on Ethereum. And of course, given that we're going multi-chain, you can imagine executing remote limit orders on any public blockchain. So check the video out. It's part of our Telegram channel. And if you're not in our Telegram channel, please make sure to join. And this is where I think you'll see a lot of the hotness, a lot of this stuff being announced. It's going to be Paloma Chain. So it's t.me/Paloma Chain. So with that wrapping up, let's talk about what's coming next week. So Crosschain. Here we're thinking about heading to Korea. What do you think, Cowboy?
He's here. We're just queuing him up. I think he got disconnected jumping on though.
That's all right. Thelema, what do you think? Ready for Korea?
I am. I'm just looking for visas right now, trying to see if we can get them.
You gotta get those visas. Come on now. Wait, I mean, and you know, partying in Korea is hardcore. Like you have to keep taking shots. Like I left my last time. I was like, yeah, I don't know how they do it, but I think we were there for I forgot. It was 2018. We're in Korea for the last blockchain conference. So it's going to require fortitude of all of us, solid constitutions, and ready to network and ready to take a shot.
Pace ourselves.
Pace ourselves.
It does look pretty amazing. I was checking out the website this morning, and it looks like they have quite a few speakers as well.
Yep.
They have tickets available for sale, which is fantastic since ECC Paris did not.
Correct. I know, that was nuts. We could not get into ECC Paris ourselves, but we had literally 1,000 people show up to the Crosschain Coalition party cocktail hour. That's amazing. We should do that. Yeah.
Probably like 5% of the conference.
That was great. We met a lot of great people. All right. So last minute here, we just want to let folks know, thank you again for tuning in. For the Paloma Pigeons, more is coming. And, you know, we're super excited to share that. If you don't know about Paloma, check out palomachain.com. We are testnet and we are mainnet Ethereum. So that means you can actually play doing secure transactions on the Ethereum mainnet today. And like I said, you can start playing with our Pith price fees. We're going to talk about that, maybe do an announcement with Jump. More stuff coming next week in terms of making sure our Valset updates are working. And of course, if you're new to Volume, we are volume.finance. And our job is to essentially build and foster collaboration and building in the cross-chain world. Special thanks to the Crosschain Coalition team. We will see you all next week. Thank you, Thelema. Thank you, Cowboy. And thank you, community. Rock and roll.
Soon.
You will.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.